So, as I had suggested, new airline fines will penalize aisle lice who stand up and crowd the aisle after landing. First, can we just take a moment to appreciate just that term of art?
Great name.
Aisle lice.
That guy got a raise.
And well deserved.
I like how they're going to penalize them before the people that clap when you land.
Dude, that was my first thought too is, okay, we can't stand up after a long flight, but people are allowed to clap like a bunch of idiots when the pilot can't even hear us because that freaking door is bulletproof and locked. I don't get it.
Okay.
Wait,
all right.
So wait, you want to clap?
No, I don't. I think it's dumb that people clap. It's not like what the pilot's taking a bow. No, he's too busy doing his damn job behind a bulletproof door. He can't hear us. There's no reason to clap.
Doug's going to have some thoughts on this one.
Well, I got to tell you, if you go back and watch the tape when we were having all those plane fiascos, Will was one of those people. He's like, I don't fear flying, but I respect it. He wanted to clap. He said it. He's like, I don't do it. But internally.
Sometimes I ironically do it.
Internally is one thing.
Sometimes I'll be like.
So, Doug, just note, Will was on that train. He's your homie. All right.
Thanks, homie.
Turkish aviation authorities will fine passengers who stand up early and crowd aircraft aisles while waiting to deplane, with penalties for that and other annoying antics reaching nearly $70. Quote, please respect the disembarkation. That's a made-up Turkish word. Priority.
Disembarkation?
Yeah, disembarkation. Priority of the passengers in front of or around you and wait your turn. I got to say, this is something I very much resonate with. And I'm going to also be eager to hear, like, Silent, Ricky, like, as someone that finds himself on a plane often, there is never a plane where 1 to 4 people do not actually believe they are more important than the rest of the plane. You've got a plane of 120 people and 3 or 4 people, guess basic statistics, just believe, like, do you think I want to sit on the plane for the next 20 minutes to 40? Hell no. But I recognize this is the cost of living in a society. A society being a collection of people, a culture of people, a systemic agreement that we all will live together for safety, security, and abundance of resources. And so this is what you have to ask yourself, asshole. Would you rather live on an island by yourself? Oh, no, you didn't choose that. And even if you do say that, you're just being an asshole right now. You don't actually mean it. Once you live it, you quickly are forced to concede that we are the social animals we exclaim ourselves to be, and you need to be a part of a group. That's our nature. And so understand this is the cost of being a part of a society. You get its safety, security, resources. And you know what you're not allowed to become? You're not allowed to become a Bill Gates, an elite that calls for depopulation. We're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for a world where 1% of the assholes that continue to suck and leech dry all the resources saying, you know, we could do with less. We could do with less. We need less people. No. You either live in a world where there's people, and that gives you a world where we populate, we thrive, and nature will take its course. When resources become scarce because we've become too large, Darwinism shows us it'll fix itself. You don't need to throw chemicals in the sky. You don't need to throw chemicals in my blood vein. You don't need to do these things that trim the fat, which you deem fat. Who gets to do that? Who gets to deem real human lives are your burden? And those lives are inferior to yours. Why? Because you won the game of Monopoly because your mom was super rich? No, that is the Bill Gates story, by the way. Look into his mom. You'll cry. But all that being said, bringing it back to a great find that I love. There are narcissists that think it's their world and you're just living in it. And you are the one in between them getting to the front so they can catch their next plane or get home to their Cheetos faster. But I just came back from Spain. We were talking about that, right? Like a month ago.
Yeah, well, there was a powder outage.
Yeah, that happened too. When I landed, the people behind us, we sat on the tarmac for an hour. Get this. Oh my God. Crazy. We were about to take off, and the pilot comes on the intercom and he goes, excuse us, we're gonna have to take a little bit here. Might take half hour, 45 minutes. We're gonna bring the gas tanker back. We did the mileage calculation. We weren't gonna have enough gas, so we're gonna bring them back to fill up the tank more. Why is it not standard practice to just fill it to its entirety? Like, what if I got stuck in the air? Like
I can
Will
answer
said,
that.
Weather wasn't too sexy. What if we couldn't land? And then we're just circling, and the pilot's like, oh, shit, I really do wish we would have filled the tank up in its entirety. Go ahead, Doug. You're itching to tell me why.
No, because after like all the airline shit after 9/11 and everything, it's now standard practice to fill the planes with the minimum amount plus a certain amount of reserve to get you to the next closest runway.
I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. Long deserved. I try to suppress it on this show. F that. That right there.
It's all about money, though, clearly.
1,000%. They're like, so we're not, for profit's, I mean, for the safety's sake, we are not going to fill this up into its entirety. That is absurd. Okay, let me give it to the Pickle Gallery. Do you guys have any thoughts on this beautiful new find brought to you by Turkey?
Gobble, gobble. I love this. I hate people that just want to get up and rush from the back. And they have to grab their shit too and trying to go to the front.
Yep.
Bro, learn a little patience in your life. You're going to get off eventually. And if you just sit your ass down and wait your turn, it will go by way faster.
Right.
Instead of
so much more
clogging the aisle. You know what I mean? I really love this. Hot take, I don't know if this is a hot take, but we should bring back for our pilots. I don't care if they hear it or not. I'm happy I reached the ground. If 2025 haven't shown y'all nothing, y'all should be grateful and y'all should have like gratitude to the people that's transferring you here and here. I ain't saying you got clap for your Uber driver, but this man is traveling, 10 coffin, 35,000 feet in the sky.
And it ran out of gas.
Take
And
that,
you
Doug.
You should clap for the pilots. I'm just saying.
I'll thank them when I walk out, but they're not going to hear us through the door.
Doug just golf claps as he walks by the pilot.
Doug
To the
golf
topic
claps.
at hand,
Good job, dickhead.
we should most definitely
Just making
find
his
the
way on the
people
runway.
that don't know patience.
No, you're right. You're right. And before I click it to silent, I want to just Ricky reminded me why I even brought up that story where we didn't fill up the gas all the way. So we were postponed like 40 minutes.
Were you in air or like
no, like just waiting. They're like, we got to bring the gas back. We got to fill it up. And it ended up taking like 40 minutes. We're sitting there and the people behind us were like second to last row. They were the last row and they start fretting. They're like, we're not going to get out in time and we got to get a layover flight. And what's interesting is because of the delay. Oh, and it was like the international flights. You're on there longer. They forgot to like bring us our first round of drinks. Like it took too long or something. So this lady was going by giving everybody like a couple 100 miles. Like you're going to get 100 miles for your troubles. And she's going through, and this is when you saw the worst in people. Like most people are like, thank you. And then people are like, not enough. And you're just like, fuck you, dude. This was free. You didn't even know you had to get these. Did you know you didn't get your Sprite? No.
Can I stop you right there? What do you mean by they get a couple 100 miles?
So you
Like
get
the
miles
airline
towards
miles.
a
Dog,
trip.
I asked
So it's,
Alex.
It's free miles. So like you pay per mile for a ticket.
All right.
So you're getting like a discount on your next flight.
Okay.
So the people behind us, she scans them and she's like, oh, you've got this like important connection flight and you only had 30 minutes and we were like 40 minutes delayed. So like, of course, the pilots, what's interesting about flight is they can just like think about angles. They just go like a little bit higher and it cuts out so much time.
Right.
So they can actually make up time by just going a little bit higher. And she's like, the pilot's going to try to make up time, but there's a likelihood that, you're not going to be able to make it. We do this thing, as I'm sure Silent or Ricky have seen plenty of times, where they'll come out in the announcement and they say, because of the delay, we want you to be kind and courteous for the people that like are stressing their connection flight. Right. Please try to stay buckled and remain seated when this thing comes to a stop. So those folks
can get off.
And what's so funny is the single rider narcissist that just needs to get the baggage claim. And that dickhead is straight up going to stand at baggage claim for 20 minutes. And statistically, I wish it was one. But the whole plane thing lands and they all go, fuck you. And they unclip and clog the aisle. Now, let me explain someone like my father. 6'4", large human. He tends to believe he's the social police of the world where it lacks it. So he'll choose to insert himself. The scene at which you find Daddy Gurgette stepping in the most is walling off these people. So here's like the dynamic. You either lose, like Big Jeff at the courthouse, you either lose this mass that's like the enforcer.
Oh, okay.
And the thing lands and it's just like, nope, hold door. And he just blocks the aisle. He's not moving forward. I am row 23H. I will be the fourth person in the 23rd row to leave. A, B, and C will go first. G, H, we will be next. They're first. And that's how it goes. And I'd like to pretend this is an oddity. Oh, no. As a culture, we have all socially agreed we hate the person that tries to bombard and rush the aisle. So when you land, almost 80% of the plane is like, I'm a wall. And then there's this one little old lady that's like, let me through, sir. And gets to my dad. She'll annoy enough people. Please, go do. And they're aggressive. They push. And then my dad, you. This is a call to war. My dad has trained his whole life for this moment in the aisle. And this is what you got to ask yourself. Do you fine all those people? Because really, if it isn't for a plane full of aisle enforcers, they get so far. And I feel like this isn't going to do away with the problem. And do we think...
Especially just being in Turkey, too.
Exactly.
Like it's going to help one country.
Yeah. Do we feel like the rainbow folks in skirts are going to tackle the person that truly deserves the fine at the front of the plane?
God,
so we all don't get up. Now you've crippled my dad. He has bowed out and will not be the enforcer. He cannot stand in the aisle or it'll give him $70. Now you've cleared it like a freeway for asshole number one to just sprint out. And I really don't believe the beautiful air attendant is not going to be able to stop them enough to get their information to find them $70.
Oh, there's no way they're paid enough to do that, nor to care enough to do that.
No. And then guess what? We're right back to the enforcers here. Whole door.
Hey, I appreciate the whole door. I appreciate the hell out of the whole door. And I would put money on your father over the granny. That time's over.
All right, let me flip it to some of our frequent flyers in there. Silent, what do you make of the new Turkish law coming our way?
Yeah, I think this law is not going to stop people from standing up in an aisle and being basically parasites and blocking people, because the crazy part is people actually think that if they get to baggage claim before everybody else, they're going to get their bag before everybody else. But guess what, dude? You still got to wait for your bag to come down the fucking belt.
And you could be last.
It's going to be the exact same thing. Like, I flew 6 times in the last, 2 months. And every single time, it was exactly the same for me. I got my bag exactly when I was supposed to. It didn't matter if I got up and stood in the aisle and I, rushed to baggage claim, or it didn't matter if I was, literally chilling on the plane on my phone, texting, and the whole plane is clear. And now the flight attendants are, cleaning the garbage, and, I finally get up and leave. I calculated this, and you will end up spending exactly almost the same time, because once you get to baggage claim, usually if it's a bigger plane, you're going to be waiting. Those bags are not going to beat you. You're always going to beat those bags, and you're going to be waiting at baggage claim. The bags will never be waiting for you. Even, and like I said, even when I sat in the plane for 20 minutes texting and the plane was empty, right? I did that twice on 2 of my flights. I still got up, went to baggage claim, still had to wait 10 minutes because guess what? There was only like 5 bags that were coming down every like 5 minutes.
That's so true. That's so true. I wanna flip a question to our boy Brad Richardson. I hope he's still lingering in the comments. So when Doug was ranting about his gasoline and 9/11, right?
Financial crisis, recession.
Well, Brad Richardson gave us a more sophisticated answer that kind of grounds the whole lack of fuel concept, which is they use AI to do all these measurements, have a formula laid out, but the fuel is measured by weight. So they are just balancing it with all like the loads of luggage and everything. Okay, Brad Richardson, I hope you're still with us. Do we really believe that? Like, I know that that's the science they sell us, and that's something that, you know, it seems sound. It makes sense. However, one of my favorite memes is they'll charge me $75 more for my bag being 1 pound over 50 pounds. And then this thing walks on the plane, and it's just a giant caboose.
And she bought
just the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. Like, can you believe how discriminatory the plane is? I had to buy 2 seats.
Dude, you could have caught one of
How
those at
does
Cedar
that
Point.
trickle into the AI formula?
She
Where
bought
does
2.
that come in? I didn't step on a scale. And how do they know Big DeMoss made it on the plane this time? I'm looking at you, Brad Richardson. I want to believe that the system is true and real and cares about us. I also believe it's all a bunch of corporate balogana. And I think it starts and ends with discriminated DeMosses on planes are not accounted for in the fuel calculation. Ergo, I don't buy it.
They're not. Because if you're a card holder to the airline, a lot of times, like, because I was a card holder to the airline, like I had the airline's credit card. Sir, your bag is overweight, but because you're a credit card holder, we're gonna go ahead and waive those fees. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm like, that's nice of you. I'm like, I don't want to fuck up the fuel ratios of the plane, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm a card holder.
Oh, yeah. Thank
I
goodness.
have the credit card. Don't worry, sir. We're gonna take off the $50 fee, sir. Don't worry. It's gonna be waived.
Well, I love, Pressed trying to get home from a ski trip, and I've got too many gloves, and Allison likes to pack light. And so we're in front of this bitch just like, all right, let me take my gloves and helmet and put it in your bag. And now the plane is safe. And then here's DeMoss with her carry-on. I'm checking nothing. I have no impact. Honey, your thigh is me.
But they pay for the extra seat though, so they pay for 2 people. So yeah,
All right,
they
what?
put that calculation
I
in.
may have taken my analysis too extreme. DeMoss thighs inevitably has to buy 2. But tell me you haven't seen Big Bubba who's pushing it on a budget, and he's like, I can squeeze these cheeks in 1 seat. And he's just muffin topping into your lap. And you're just like, yeah, he's accounted for in the oil exchange here at Delta.
Thank the Lord, I have not encountered that.
Oh, you got to get on a plane more, dude, here in America. Get some cheeseburger guzzlers next to you. Then you'll be like, oh, man, this poor victim. It's just bleeding victimhood. And the gas. Now, I may not have enough gas to make it to Hawaii because we got Bubba.
Your direct flight turned into a connecting flight.
Yeah, we had to actually stop at an airbase ship in the middle of the ocean to make it to Hawaii because DeMoss.
Yeah, that would go over really well for me. I would definitely be clapping, Doug. I would for sure be
If we had to
clapping.
land in the middle of the ocean, I'd be clapping
If we
too.
landed on a carrier, I'd be like, I clap and I look at you, Doug, and be like, get your ass up and clap.
Honestly, any Soul plane just flying at this angle with a DeMoss in the back, you better be
Dude,
clapping.
you're gonna see
you
that thing
landed.
flying like this and start tipping upwards like the Titanic.
It's just landing.
Stalling.
You're like, oh, thank
Start stalling. It couldn't hit second gear.
Turn on the afterburner.
It's like that bad Family Guy bit. Oh, watch out, Porkins, and he's outside the cockpit.
And or just get the trumpet. That's our plane.
That's the pilot over the intercom.
Brad's got an answer for you.
Can you tell the rainbow logo's gone?
Can you-
It's just gone.
Yeah, Brad, put that in your calculations.
We're going cruel. All right. Here we go. He says, I don't have the answer for that, but you either believe it or ask more questions. Great point. Great point. That's why we're here. Rethinking, asking questions.
I want to ask a question. Did that guy buy 1 seat or 2 seat?
He got 2, but he definitely did complain about it. Actually, in aviation, the load weight really matters, definitely for skydiving sense.
Well,
And
Cessnas are small plane.
yeah, exactly. Only 1,000 pounds of passengers can go to. Could you imagine? All right, Brad Richardson.
1,000 pounds of passengers?
No, just for the special plane that you do skydiving out of. But can we also agree, Brad Richardson? Let's say 2 DeMosses took up the whole max load, or really 1 DeMoss, 2 pilots took up all the max load, and now this is a physics comment for
parachute won't
everybody
hold
out there for everybody. Ricky jumps off and DeMoss jumps off. Who lands first? It's not in a vacuum, so Ricky will land first. But in a vacuum, like a feather in a bowling ball, they would land at the same time. But air resistance would slow the DeMoss down. But it would be coming in hot.
Cannonball.
Cannonball. That thing would hit the ground. Kablump.
That's what we call the third impact.
Get the legs going. Get the legs going. Keep moving. We're coming in hot. Boom, 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 boom.
Dude, a T-Rex said the same thing one day. Hey, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, that thing coming in from a Cessna would be fast.
Dude, she better.
hard
Dude, I hope that woman got a lot of money from Uber
from that moment.
from her rap career, because boy, she's gonna need a private jet. Sounds like.
So I had to get a plane for the luggage and a plane for me. I have to go separate.
Her and Dave Blunt's got to fly separately.
Dave Blunt. Now, if a DeMoss and a Dave Blunt's skydive at the same time, who would hit the ground first?
Well, that's tough, because does he bring his couch with him?
Oh my god.
Guys, these people are victims.
All right, boys, we got to land this.
They had to. They were strapped down,
Land
and
this
every
plane.
cheeseburger was forced down their gullet. They're victims. All right, wrapping thoughts. Let me toss it to Ricky. Ricky, close it out for us. Wrapping thought.
Enlighten us, please.
I'm not rich, so if you just sit and wait, because I usually be back there in the plane, you know what I mean? I ain't saying all the way back there, you know what I mean? I'll be back there though. If you wait, you probably meet your bag exactly at baggage claim. Because if especially international, you gotta go through customs and shit. Yeah, you definitely meet it there.
No, I agree. And I also like Silent's point about the baggage claim. You really nailed it. So, Silent, give us your wrapping thoughts.
Adding to what Ricky said, just wait, guys. Just wait. You're gonna wait a baggage claim. Text your friends. You know you want to. You had a long flight, 5 hours. You know you want to catch up. You know you're itching for that social media fucking dopamine hit. Text your friends, relax, breathe, chill, let the plane empty out, and just text your friends, give them a call. You know, like respond to some emails, get some work done in the 20 minutes. It's gonna be peaceful and quiet. The plane's gonna be empty. You're gonna get to your baggage. You know, unless of course you have a connecting flight, right? Of course.
Yeah.
And this is why.
And let those people through.
This is why I always tell people, like, time your connecting flights to more than 3 hours. Because I would rather sit at the terminal for an hour waiting for my connecting flight than have to run to the gate and miss my connecting flight.
Or your
Facts.
luggage not get there.
That's another little pro tip for you guys, right? Also, pack light. You don't need a check bag. You don't need it if you're doing connecting flights, right? Because like what Doug said, like your bag sometimes doesn't make it. You might make it to the airport, but your bag sometimes might not make it. So just travel smart. Like be smart about it. Don't just stand up. You're blocking everybody's way. You're delaying everybody from getting off the plane. You know, you're gonna have to wait either way at baggage claim. So just relax. The bags will be waiting. The bags won't be there waiting for you. You're gonna have to wait for your bags regardless, whether you're there first or you're there last.
No, I love the
Yo.
point. Sorry, Silent. I don't know if you noticed that
Yeah.
we were just cracking up as you were giving the point there. Brad Richardson quite literally nails it with, I think, my favorite point of the segment. He goes, "Hey, Will, was that one chick that we saw on the plane who said she saw something as she was pointing at? Was that DeMoss? Was she pointing at DeMoss at the back of the plane?"
That thing
That
is
thing-
not real.
That thing is not real.
That is true, man. It had to. But how can you not see her? He's right there.
And yet, like, because everybody's beautiful in all sizes today, she's living in a world where everybody's got Jack Black, Shallow Hal syndrome. And they're like, "What do you mean? Beautiful, skinny, beautiful in all shapes." And she's like, "That thing needs 2 seats."
That thing isn't real.
No, I agree with Silent. I agree with Ricky. Strong closing points.
Yo,
Oh, yeah. Ricky, what's up?
those people that book layover flights within an hour and 30 minutes, y'all deserve to miss y'all flights.
Savages. Tell them, Ricky. Tell them.
Well, it's dumb for people to think, okay, your flight is going to be delayed in some way. You're going to have to taxi at some point. But, okay, you get there early enough to get to your plane, but they still got to unload the plane you came on and get your bag over to that other plane. If you don't give enough time, you may get on it, but your bag ain't.
Yeah. And trust me, I've been in that world where you arrive and your luggage didn't make it. And now you're in a foreign state or country and you're just like, and I don't even have underwear for tomorrow.
Yeah, you've also just left it at home.
That's happened in my life before too, where I showed up at the airport and Will was with us. I actually had to send Mrs. Hubert to my house, my parents' house at the time, to mail us my luggage because we arrived at the airport and everyone had a suitcase but me. I want to blame the factors at which we left my house in haste, and I thought my dad's bag was my bag, and they didn't grab mine, but I left it with all the other luck, but it was on my bed.
Quite frankly, it felt like a scene out of The Office at the airport. Just panning over to your face, just looking at me like, I'm going to hear about this the whole time.
The whole time, I'm still hearing about it. Will continues to let it haunt me.
It's so funny, dude. Your face just didn't even try to fight it. Just the realization. It was perfect.
What Brad Richardson. I did just travel to the location and buy clothes. Yeah, that's fair.
That's
And
kind
then
of what
throw
you
it
did
out
too.
when I
That's a good
left
tactic.
rather than deal with the baggage claim. Or you could have mailed it to yourself. That's true too. I mean, it is a good excuse for a shopping spree, but like everyone's saying here, you're not going to beat your baggage claim. Guess what? Even if it did beat you, isn't there something nice to, instead of watching every dinky bag go by, it's just sitting there
sitting
waiting
there,
for
yeah.
you? That's a cool thing too. And little sprinkle on top, you left the airport a decent human being. You actually were a part of a society and were able to share a space with others in a pro-healthy space or way. So one, just know that like you're diabolical and the rest of the plane hates you. The sad part is I try to make that with like harsh language, not because I truly feel it, but more so than anything, I need you to know that's how the world feels. And on the flip side of it, this person, I say narcissist, psychopath, because they straight up don't care. Like, I tell you the rest of the plane hates you. You're like, fuck the rest of the plane. I hate them. It's like, okay, well then you're the problem. And you're not just the guy that rushes the center aisle because screw everybody else. I'm more important. This bleeds itself into like all facets of life. You're the person that sees a 1 hour queue to get on a Cedar Point ride. And you play that game. You're like, oh, I'm just trying to get to my friend. And then you get to the front. You're like, suckers. And then there's the person that you go to the McDonald's drive-thru. And I've bitched about this enough times where you have one line of like 6 cars. And then at the front of that, it veers into 2 lanes. The whole thing would be we all wait our turn one at a time. So that
Oh,
way,
yeah.
nobody gets in front of it. Everybody waits the same length. And then one asshole comes whipping all the way around and takes the outside lane because, yeah, the 6 other people were just waiting there for the hell of it. Waiting for you, baby cakes. This is your aisle. It's like, no, we're actually trying to keep the parking lot orderly so that way, we all can get to the people that aren't in the drive-thru can also use the parking lot in a healthy way, and we all get served in an even fashion. It's rare, so we got to get excited when Nick jumps in. Foster, that wall looks outdated. Will, help me out here. I think he wants to throw you through the wall.
What wall, man?
For anybody that doesn't know, Nick threw Will through my wall at my parents' house, and it only enhanced the decor when we had to pave it with stone.
I'll die on that hill. That basement looks phenomenal. Now
Yeah,
with that
it
new
does
wall.
look a lot
It really
better.
brightened up the basement.
HGTV
Completely
style.
In the moment, it was a bit awkward.
Kids being kids. What can we say? So I've kind of made it clear. I support this fine, but also we made the point that I don't think the fine's going to do much. It's going to keep all the people, the hold doors sitting and at bay, and the assholes are still going to be assholes. I really do think it opens up the door to where people can't enforce this. Like, how are you truly going to adequately enforce it? Ergo, it's going to default back to the wild, wild west of aisle policing socially. So I think, one, we make it clear we don't like these people. I support the fine, but it's not going to have much of an effect. But this has opened the door to dialogue. So hopefully we can start to further embed it into the culture to where, in Japan, people don't litter. They just don't. Why? Because the whole rest of the world around you is going to social just citizens are going to police it, jump in, accost you, and you could even go to jail for it. So they're going to turn you into the police. Once it becomes such a forefront of our social culture, they can't do it. It's just not going to succeed, jump in the line. So hopefully maybe we don't get success through the fine, but it starts a social trend that we therefore see the result that we're looking for. Rapid thoughts, Will.
I think you should be patient. I think you should take your time. I think it's totally acceptable to give a little golf clap when the plane lands. And if someone tries to jump into the aisle, if you don't want to box him out like Mr. Gurgett, give him the old people's elbow. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of throw one out to the side.
People's elbow.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's about it.
Doug, wrapping thoughts.
I definitely agree. It's annoying when the people stand ups and are blocking or grabbing their bag or trying to push their way through. But I'm one of those people that's after sitting for a while, I definitely want to stand up, but I'm not going to the overhead. I'm not grabbing my stuff. And I'm not standing in the aisle. I'm just trying to stand up and stretch my legs after sitting. So as long as they don't go after innocent people like me for that, all right.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Rethink Tank Live. Join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. streaming across the platforms on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok. We do our best to promote user engagement, and we want you involved. So be sure to bring your perspective live so we can get you in the dialogue. See you then.